Hello and welcome back to my Tarot 101 series. If you're new here, hi, I'm River. I'm a queer astrologer and tarot reader. And in this series, I'm going to be covering the meanings of each of the 78 tarot cards. Now, the card that I'm covering today is near and dear to the hearts of many tarot readers, or anyone who studies and practices a spiritual and occult art, the High Priestess. Now, this card most often comes up for me before I do a reading for someone else. Usually, I will meditate before a session and then I'll ask the cards, what should I keep in mind as I do my reading? What message should I allow to come through? And I always get the High Priestess or the Hierophant, which I do feel like these cards hold some similarities, but they are quite different. So I'm really excited to share my knowledge about the High Priestess, to reveal some of her mysteries, but not all of them. So happy learning! If the magician is the conscious self, then the High Priestess is his opposite. The magician Yang, the High Priestess Yin. She is the next stop on the Fool's journey. In the stages of life, the High Priestess could represent infancy and early childhood, when one is uneducated about the ways of the world, and yet there's something wise beyond one's years inside of them. There is a voice that comes through the stillness that tells one who to trust and which way to go on a dark and stormy night. It is what many of our mothers have always told us to use as our guide. Some call it a gut feeling, others intuition. Intuition is to know something outside of the rational and factual. It's a gift that all of us have, but we so often ignore or take for granted. The High Priestess teaches the Fool of its sacredness. But this is not all she has to share. Behind her, we see a hanging curtain with halved pomegranates. These fruit represent the sweet taste of esoteric knowledge. She is the priestess to the mystical wisdom of tarot itself and all occult and spiritual practices. But what does that mean if you were to receive the High Priestess in a tarot reading? The secret scene within the card holds the answers. Looking past the columns and the curtain, you can see a scene of blue. Let's look behind to see what hides there. We have the card of the Two of Swords, and of course there's a scene of the ocean, for its deep waters hold as many mysteries as the High Priestess herself. As a tarot reader, I see the High Priestess and the Two of Swords come up most often in a tarot reading when someone is seeking clarity about a person or a situation. They may be confused about a person's intentions or which path to take next in life. When I ask for background information, they always have a detailed response, and yet it feels like there is something they are not saying or wish to address. It may be they are simply scared to tap into their intuition, or because of worry and fear, they are so out of body they cannot hear the voice inside them shouting to be heard. The medicine of the High Priestess is simple, yet may be hard to do with the constant chatter of life. Find stillness. The connection to your inner self is sacred and may require ritual to tap into it. People often find success when they do a new or full moon ritual, though you don't have to wait for that specific day or hour in order to connect to the energy of the High Priestess and your inner self. If you don't have access to an ocean or river or a lake, you could take a warm shower or a bath, or even something as simple as lighting a few candles and setting up some time to journal or meditate, or even create art in which you go into a trance-like state so that you have space to hear that inner voice speak. And because there is a very spiritual aspect to all of this could involve connecting to your guides through prayer or chanting, music or art as well. Don't be afraid of whatever comes up in your moment of stillness. Really sit with it and listen, for you'll find that the answers were within you all along. Let's test out the High Priestess in a tarot spread. A simple 2-card spread you can do for yourself is, what are you seeking and what will help you get it? So let's say for the first question, we pull the High Priestess. And for the second, we have the 8 of Wands. Because this is video number 3, I'm going to invite you to pause the video and see if you can answer these questions first on your own. Don't worry about being right or wrong, just follow your intuition. And especially for this question, what are you seeking? Flip it around. What can the high priestess give you? That is your answer. Think back to the keywords that I discussed today. All right, let's discuss the cards. So, for the first question, what are you seeking? For the high priestess, the keywords here are going to be connection, clarity, and guidance, right? You're looking for connection to your inner self. You're looking connection to maybe a spiritual guide or your unconscious mind. You're looking for clarity about a confusing situation. Maybe you're looking to connect the dots when it comes to your esoteric study, and so you want answers. And that also ties into clarity as well. So, the Eight of Wands are a card connected to travel, adventure, excitement. You can see how the wands shoot up across the sky here. There's this energy of quick movement. And so, if you want to find the answers that the High Priestess has for you, the solution here is to travel far away to some distant land. And maybe when you're out in nature, you can find a place of stillness to tap into the High Priestess. Or maybe when you're exerting energy, climbing to a mountaintop, you'll find peace and be able to fall inward and connect to your unconscious self. But what would it mean if these two cards were switched? Let's say that you are instead seeking excitement, adventure, travel. How can a card about stillness help you find these things? Perhaps there is already a voice ringing inside of you, a call to adventure that you've been ignoring for whatever reason. Maybe you feel burdened by the responsibilities of your daily life, and so you keep pushing away this urge to move, to travel, to explore. But once you finally sit with yourself and listen, you won't be able to ignore it anymore. You'll be pushed to take up the call. Maybe the high priestess has a secret for you, something that you know deep down but you don't want to face. And once you do, you'll no longer be able to stay where you are. You'll have to go somewhere else. Let's try one more example. Let's say you want to do a career reading and you ask the cards, what job am I best suited for? And you pull the high priestess along with the Nine of Wands. So again, I'm going to invite you to pause the video, think about what qualities and traits the high priestess has and how that would translate into a job, and then see if you can tie it into this card and what it might mean. All right, let's discuss. So first, let's take note of how radically different these two cards are. The Nine of Wands is all about the energy of fire. You can see how on the top of this person's head, they've been injured, there's a bandage, their shirt sleeve is torn, their arms cross over themselves defensively, and they hold this stick as protection. There's even a wall behind them. Whereas in the energy of the high priestess, this is very much connected to the feeling of water. We have the ocean, we have the moon, there's a connection to feelings, there's a softness and a stillness. And then notice how the high priestess is looking out towards us, and the Nine of Wands is looking towards the high priestess, perhaps for some help in their situation. So, one of the qualities of water is that it's very healing. And so, if we apply this to a job, maybe it means that you are suited for a career that has a healing element. You can help people who have gone through a really hard time, who are on the defensive, who feel angry or scared. We know that the high priestess is someone with a lot of knowledge, and in turn, she can also be someone who offers guidance to others. So, this could be as a tarot reader, a therapist, a counselor, maybe some kind of energy healer, perhaps some kind of spiritual counselor that can help this person tap in to their guides and find a way out of their precarious situation. So, what jobs do you think the high priestess is best suited for? So, that is it for today's lesson. you have any further questions about the High Priestess, feel free to write them down in the comments below. And as always, you can reach out to me at byjoveastrology.com for a tarot tutoring session.